Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troller. 1972 to 1975.
Game 472, White Sox at Royals.
Welcome back, baseball fans. 1972-75 Carryover League. We continue along in the race for the pennant postseason tournament. We're in the American League Midwest. A battle for the top of the division between the White Sox and Royals. Probably the only division in the American League where the top two teams are legit excellent teams playing excellent baseball. You have Oakland out west without much competition. The American League East is having a bad year, and the Tigers, Expos are nice. Tigers kind of okay. But this is really pretty much a bitter rivalry it's turned into in the American League, White Sox Royals. We'll just go right into this. First thing, we wanted to look at Wilbur Wood under a microscope a little bit. He's scheduled to pitch game 1. So I decided to go to Wilbur's. There he is. His game logs of 72, just to see the incredible frequency of pitching on 2 days rest, which is insane. And as it turns out, you can just start adding them up, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You add up all the times he pitched on 2 days rest. I counted 30 of the 49 starts. But you also got to remember, they have rainouts. They have doubleheaders. They have off days in their schedule. So, I mean, he probably could have pitched on 2 days rest more frequently than that. But he didn't do it absolutely 100% of the time. So I use that as a kind of a guide as I've been going along here. And frankly, in the kind of schedule we play, it's not overly necessary for you to go on 2 days rest. So the White Sox are selectively using it to their advantage, as you can imagine, but not doing it 100% of the time. So with that, let's take a peek at game 1. And the schedule is set up for 5 consecutive baseball games on 5 days. So Wilbur Wood is pitching game 1 against Marty Patton for the Royals. And for the White Sox, so far, in a season where they've played Kansas City 7 times already, and the White Sox beat them 4-3. Matter of fact, let's show you the overall strategy that needs to go into place here. Here we have the White Sox and Royals. White Sox are game out of first. Kansas City has a 1-to-1, a +1 head-to-head advantage. They have home field advantage for the best of 7. If the White Sox win 4-3 in a best of 7, everything is tied up. They'd be tied for first. The head-to-head would be tied, so you need a game 8 anyway. So the White Sox need to win 5 of the 8 games, is the strategy on that. So 5 of 8 is what the White Sox need. So in game 1, it's Wilbur Wood versus Marty Patton. Marty Patsy in the White Sox dugout, because he's the one pitcher that they've been zeroing in on while struggling against Roger Nelson, Paul Splittorff, Larry Gura. This series starts with a ground out, a strikeout, then a Orta walk, 2-run homer Dick Allen, Melton single, Stinson single, 3-run homer Buddy Bradford, 5-0 White Sox. The Royals get a double by Otis, a triple by Piniella. Then in the 5th inning, they strike again. May walks, and then doubles by Henderson, Orta, and Allen. That's 8 runs. That's pretty much the ball game. Not only is it pretty much the ball game, it's one of the rare times where the White Sox win comfortably, 8-2. They actually pull Wood after 7 to conserve innings and just have long men Dave Lemons and Mike Garman pitch an inning. So a great start for the White Sox, and are things about to change as they get a road win. There's a long series, folks. I'm just telling you that right now. So get yourself a nice cup of coffee. Game 2. It's Bart Johnson versus Prince Rogers Nelson. A guy that the White Sox just can't figure this guy out. Nor could a lot of teams in 1972. Nelson had his career year. Bart Johnson has a pretty good start, but at the bottom of the second, you get Piniella, Kirkpatrick doubles, RBI single Dwyer for a couple runs. In the 6th inning, you get a single, couple walks, and a bizarre error by Tony Muser, normally a good fielding first baseman, for the 3rd run. Meanwhile, the White Sox can't touch Roger Nelson again. After all that success in Game 1, 7 hits, mostly singles. This is a 3-0 win for Kansas City to even up the series. Bart Johnson actually went 7 1/3, also helping his bullpen. 11 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. So Bart Johnson's fine at this point. So we go to Chicago, somewhat disappointed. They got a win, but they were hoping for 2 wins. So Game 3. And Game 3 is a war. Just an absolute war between Paul Splittorff, who the White Sox can't figure out, and Tom Bradley. The White Sox were thinking they could figure out Splittorff. They got a walk in the 1st. They got a double and a single and a run in the 3rd. In the 4th inning, a single, a walk, a double by Bill Melton, and then Dick Allen gets thrown out at the plate, 1-16. And he gets thrown out at the plate, though, 80% chance, because every time the White Sox try strategy, it just blows up in their face. 3 more singles off Splittorff in the 5th, nothing happens. 2 more hits off of Splittorff in the 6th, nothing happens. Meanwhile, Tom Bradley throwing a shutout, a single, a 2-run homer by Amos Otis, it's tied, a walk to John Mayberry, and that's point of weakness on Tom Bradley and also Stan Botson. They're both starter 6s. They're almost the complete opposite of Wilbur Wood, who could pitch forever. These guys have a short shelf life, only 6 innings, and they hit the point of weakness. This thing goes extra innings. And the first White Sox pitcher is Dave Lemons, pitches an inning and a 3rd. And then in a tie game, they say, let's just go to Gossage now. Why wait to a save situation? We're probably not going to get it. It's 2-2. Bottom of that same inning, Kansas City does the same thing. They pull Splittorff and they go straight to Doug Bird, their closer. Doug Bird, let's do him first. He was slightly better. 3 2/3, 1 hit, 8 strikeouts. Rich Gossage, 3 2/3, 3 hits, a walk, 4 strikeouts. So now we're into the 10th, 11th, 12th inning. Joe Horner came on in, gave up 2 hits and 2 outs. Horacio Pena finished that inning. Terry Forster came in after Gossage. 2 scoreless innings, though he put 3 men on base. So here we are in the bottom of the 13th inning. Dick Allen struck out to end the 12th. So in the bottom of the 13th, Ken Henderson flies out. Bill Melton grounds out. Steve Bry gets a single. And then the hero, Talkin' Tony Muser. Triple 1-5 on his card. Gets the triple with 2 outs, scoring the runner from first to thrill the faithful at Comiskey Park. They win in the bottom of the 13th inning by a score of 3-2. The lines are not pretty for the White Sox. Let's do the Royals. 2 runs on 8 hits, 6 walks. They put 14 men on base. The White Sox, 3 runs on 15 hits, 3 walks, and they struck out 16 times. But they got a win. White Sox, then the Royals, then the White Sox. So what do you think happens in Game 4, folks? Game 4, because of Mr. Wood, because Gossage and Forster had to pitch a ton of innings in relief, they pull the 2 days off strategy for Game 4. Wilbur Wood's going to come in on 2 days rest to pitch Game 4. And winning and losing doesn't matter as much as pitch those 8 and 9 innings. Well, Wood pitched 9 innings. Gave up 9 hits and 3 runs. Pitched well. Gave up a double to Piniella, a 2-run homer to Bob Oliver, an RBI double to George Brett. And the Royals are facing Larry Gura, who they should be. This is a mismatch. Wood is much better than Gura, but the White Sox are back to their old tricks again. Single, two base error, leave that runner there. Walk, leave him. Single, leave him. Single, leave him. Single, leave him. Double play there. Double play there. Bottom of the seventh, a single, a triple by Steve Bry. A sac fly makes it 3-2. They had a chance in the eighth with a Carlos May double, but Dick Allen grounds out. And then in the ninth inning, Horatio Pena is asked to close out because Doug Bird's not available. Bird's not available. Gossige's not available. Forster's limited availability. Pena comes in the ninth. Henderson leads off with a single. And we have Bill Melton at the plate. And we're thinking, all right, Bill, stay out of the double play. Down a run. And he's a C bunter and a C hit runner. And we get the wild idea in our heads that let's try a hit and run to move the runner up, because that's a 286 batting average. And of course, he swings through the pitch, and Ken Henderson gets caught stealing. So now there's an out. Henderson flies out, and Orta pops out. To end the game, we've had stolen guys get caught stealing. We've got guys botch hit some runs. They strand runners on base. They hit in the double plays. All in all, the series is tied 2 games apiece. For all the successes and failures of the White Sox and the Royals, this is just you just think the Royals have the last laugh, or so it seems. As we go to Game 5, it's going to be Marty Patsy again versus Stan Bonson. Now in this one, the Royals get an early lead, a double, a single by Otis, 1-0. And it is Marty Patton pitching well through the 5th. The Royals add a run in the 6th on a Mayberry single, 2-zip. But it is another one of those big innings off of Patton he can't seem to avoid. Mueller single, Aparicio rolls a fly ball to left X off Piniella, who's a 4 outfielder. That's a double ... Scoring the run, single, and it's a 3-run 6th inning. They add a run in the 7th inning. There's some interesting strategy here that the Royals attempted. It was pretty interesting strategy. I'll take you through this. A strikeout, a walk, a strikeout, a double. 2nd and 3rd. Splitoff about to break. Or Patton about, Patton's been getting knocked around. So they bring in the lefty Joe Horner with George Orta on deck to intentionally walk Henderson to pitch to Orta, figuring that the White Sox, with the bases loaded, don't want to take Orta out. He's the best hitter on the team with a .316 average, even though it's against a lefty. And Horner is so bad, it coerces Orta to stay in the game because the bases loaded walk scores a run, and Orta actually gets some walks against lefties. Well, it kind of worked for the White Sox. He simply rolled pitcher's X and got an error on Horner, so they do get that run. But it was a nice attempt by the Royals to have their lousy lefty reliever in a strategic move, figuring the White Sox weren't going to take George Orta out of the game. And that was the right choice by really both teams. It's just the result wasn't what Kansas City got. So that made it 4-2. And the pitching star for the White Sox was actually Dave Lemons in relief, because Bonson in the 6th, he hits his point of weakness. Bradley did the same thing. So Dave Lemons had to come on in the 6th, a 3-up and 3-down 7th. He would pitch through to Mayberry in the 8th, where Mayberry gets a single. At which point there's just 5 outs to get, but you still have lefties Kirkpatrick and Dwyer in the lineup. So they don't go Gossage at first, they go Forster. Forster gets a couple strikeouts. Then they go Gossage in the 9th. He gets a couple strikeouts. And right now, folks, Forster and Gossage have figured it all out suddenly for the Chi Sox. They strike 4 out of 5 batters out. Well, Gossage hasn't been figuring it out, but mostly Forster is a lot more reliable than he's been. And a big win in Game 5 for the White Sox, winning it 4-2. So we go back to Kansas City, expecting the Royals to win Game 6. Let's take a look at Game 6. It is Tom Bradley against Paul Splittorff. This time, the White Sox finally figure Splittorff out in the 1st. Brian Downing leads off in doubles. Carlos May singles, and then Dick Allen, another 3-run homer in the first. All his homers seem to be in the first inning in this series. 3-0. Meanwhile, Tom Bradley is finally delivering deep into a game for these White Sox. Now in the fourth inning, he gets up a homer to John Mayberry and a homer to Ed Kirkpatrick, and also, sadly, for Amos Otis, homer chance fly ball, and then in the fifth inning, homer chance fly ball. Otherwise, it's a 5-4 game. Bradley pitches through the eighth. 6 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 5 Ks. And then it's Terry Forster in the ninth, not even needing Gossage in a 6-2 game. And Terry Forster gets the final 3 outs. And the White Sox have finally won back-to-back games in this thing. A win, a loss, a win, a loss, and then 2 straight wins. They now have a 4-2 series lead. And that they also have a game lead in the standings. So let's show you how this shakes out. Here we go. In the American League Midwest, here's the White Sox. They're at 0, and the Royals are game back. 21-14, 21-16 for the Royals. They're game back. So we have Game 7 in Kansas City. If the Royals win this, they would be tied and force the tiebreaker, even though the White Sox would still be ahead in the series, 4-3. So Game 8, the tie-breaking game, would be back in Chicago. Once again, the White Sox have the Wilbur Wood option, and they have decided that, you know, we're actually going to push him into Game 8. We like our chance with Bart Johnson today. We like the way that Bradley and Bonson kind of pitched, even though they got hit point of weakness in the 6th inning, unfortunately, twice, because the Royals, they have much better offense against lefties. Amos Otis is better against a lefty. Bob Oliver is better, plus individual players. Healy, Patek is better against lefties, though he's playing today against a righty. So they're going to save Wilbur Wood for Game 8 if necessary back in Comiskey Park. This also enables the entire bullpen to pitch as much as they want today, knowing that Wood's going to be pitching Game 8. So if you really want to go long with Gossage and Forster today in the potentially penultimate game, you can. So today's pitchers in Game 7 of a potential 8-game series. The White Sox are sending Bart Johnson out there. Last time he pitched, he did very well. 7 in the 3rd innings. He had a 2-run inning, didn't walk too many guys. He was 10-4 with a 2.73 ERA in 122 innings. And the Royals, of course, will send Roger Nelson. We've seen him many times now. 7-1. And the White Sox are sick and tired of this guy, and they want to beat him. They think he is vulnerable to left-handed batters. White Sox have 5 really good ones. They probably wish they had a 6th or 7th. Nelson's a starter 9. He's pretty much guaranteed a complete game so that the Royals could use their entire bullpen for Game 8. This isn't even the playoffs, folks. This is just the postseason tournament. Both of these teams are predictably going to go to the playoffs. One is a division winner, one is a wild card. We just don't know how that's going to play out. And we still don't know, because that is still going to be determined in the 2nd and 3rd rounds of the race to the pennant. So, from the fountains of Kansas City, it's Game 7. Royals, for the first time, need a win. Leading off for the White Sox will be Carlos May. 64 immediately off the Nelson card is a home run to start the game. So that's different. We haven't seen that yet. Now you got Ken Henderson. 57's a K. George Orta, 38, is a walk. And now you got Dick Allen. Has homered in the 1st inning twice in the 5 games we've played. 48, center. And with 2 outs, it's Bill Melton. 66, single one at 18, gets it. With 2 outs, switch hitter Bob Stinson. 67 off of Nelson. They're getting to him. The lefties are. Double one, single dot dot. And it is a 2-run, 2-0 lead with runners on the corners and 2 outs for Buddy Bradford. 411, right X. In right field, you got Jim Dwyer, a 3-3 in right field, and he makes the grab. All right, 2-0. Technically, White Sox are 27 outs away from winning the series. Leading off will be Fred Patek. 1-5 left. Freddie has not let off against a right-handed pitcher all year because he only hits 220-something, 225. But today they thought they would load up with the speediest team possible and maybe run the White Sox out of the park. Cookie Rojas, 3-11, lines a short. And George Brett, 57 is a K. Top of 2, it's Tony Muser. 2-11, pops to short. Louis Aparicio, 2-3, pops to short. And Carlos May, 37 is a walk. Dare we attempt a stolen base? Oh my God, let's try it. Let's see if one of these things will be successful for the White Sox. He steals a base, and that's the first one of the series for the team from the Windy City. Runner in scoring position for Ken Henderson. 3-5 is a walk. Setting up George Orta. Let's take a look at Orta's card before he swings. He is their leading hitter. 316, a little bit better than Allen and Carlos May and so forth. Brilliant 74. 10 homers and 565 plate appearances, and much better against righties than lefties. Probably it's 340 against righties. Big moment here for Orta and the White Sox against Roger Nelson, suddenly vulnerable. Here's the pitch. 5-11 off the Nelson card is pitcher X. He's an E8. He can field his position, and he does. So wasted opportunity there. Bottom of the second, it's John Mayberry, one of the 4 all-star hitters of the Kansas City Royals that went to the all-star game. Unbelievable. 38 grounds a second. Lou Piniella, the American League's leading hitter. 59, flies right. And Amos Otis moved down to 6 because of his offensive struggles against right-handed pitching, and because he missed 2 homer chances in the previous game. 4-10 off of Bart Johnson, center X. Henderson's a 2-6 in center. And he goofs that one up. A 2-base error on the E6 center fielder. Ouch. Can they pounce on the mistake with Ed Kirkpatrick? 59 off of Bart Johnson, short X. Now you got Aparicio, a 2-24. Can he squeeze the ball? No! He cannot either. And the White Sox are kicking the game away in the second inning. Runners in the corners, 2 outs for another all-star Kansas City catcher, Fran Healy. 58, Bart Johnson gets him to fly to center field, and he fist bumps his shortstop, and then later the center fielder when he comes in saying, I got you guys. I got you. I got a no-hitter. Into the third, it's Dick Allen. 66 off Nelson, single 118, gets it. B-Stealer. Bill Melton, no more hitting and running, no more bunting, none of that shit. Bill Melton, 58, strikes out. He just hits into so many double plays, you know. Bob Stinson, 56, second X, speaking of double plays. Cookie Rojas, a 2-15, 4, 6, 3, double play. You don't expect this to be easy for the White Sox, as nothing is. Bottom of the third, Jim Dwyer, 42, center. Fred Patek, 210, short. And Cookie Rojas, 48, second X. This is Orta, 4E20 second baseman. And he makes the play. We go to the fourth. Buddy Bradford. 3-6 is a walk. Now it's talking Tony Muser. 2-3, pops to second. Aparicio. 4-10, center X. You got Otis out there. So 1E6 in center makes the catch. And Carlos May. 37 will be a walk. And another big moment here for the White Sox. Ken Henderson trying to increase the lead. 2 on, 2 outs. The pitch to Ken. 2-10 is a fly ball to right. Yep, this is setting up for traditional White Sox disappointment. leaving too many men on base and not being able to separate against the Royals. Here's another all-star hitter, George Brett, 58, second X. This is Orta again. This time he kicks the ball. That's 3 of them. Do you win a game where you make 3 errors? We'll find out. John Mayberry, 38, is a 4-6-3 double play. Now you're probably wondering, that's a plus. Brett's a C-stealer not being held on. Royals probably could have run or attempted more steals with their C-stealers. Let me review that right now in the middle of this inning. Patek's an A, Rojas a B, Brett's a C. They all could attempt stealing off the +1 arm catcher. Pinella a C, Otis a B. But they're down a couple runs. And as you can tell by my temperament, stealing bases is like pulling teeth in Strat-O-Matic. So we've been neglecting it as much as we can. Lou Pinella now. After the double play, here's the pitch to Lou. 2-11, pops to short. No hitter, still intact, though there have been 3 base runners. Into the 5th. It'll be George Orta. 45 off Nelson, flies to center. Dick Allen. 2-6 is a base hit. Nice day, 2 for 3 for Dick. Bill Melton. 1-5 is a fly ball to left. And with 2 outs, it's Bob Stinson. 1-4 rolls back to the mound. 2-0 game. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, the Royals. Suddenly, their offense has gotten clunky the last 3 games. They struggled a little bit against the Brewers at the end of their previous series. So it'll be Amos Otis, who's also struggling, leading off in the 5th. 49 off Bart Johnson, short X. This is Aparicio. Can you field a ground ball today? He can. Ed Kirkpatrick, 2-8 is, there goes your no-hitter. 1-1, base hit for Kirkpatrick. And your tying run is Fran Healy. 2-8, let's take a look at a Royal player. So Fran Healy, really having a nice year, hitting .330 with this card. It's a .276 card in 73 and 300 plate appearances. Arguably his best year as a platoon catcher, but he's been their everyday catcher. And one of the highest batting averages of American League catchers. He's doing better this year than Munson and Fisk, and you get the idea. 2-8, back-to-back 2-8s by the same template, Kirkpatrick and Healy. Double 1-8 is single dot. You got runners in the corners, slow ones. With 1 out, you're playing back. I'll concede a run, hoping for a double play. It's Jim Dwyer. 64, Dwyer, catcher's X. Now you got 4E10. You want an out. Just stay away from the error if you can. Nope. Can't stay away from the error. Makes the error. All you wanted was a pass, ball, wild pitch, something like that. Nah, you get the error. That's the 4th. In 5 innings. We got a 2-1 game. Runners at first and second for Fred Patek. 2-2. Interesting. Fly ball center B plus injury. No sac fly. Nobody at third anymore. Patek's gone. Your shortstop is out of the game. Plus he's good defense. So Heidemann will take over that role in the top half of the next inning. And it'll be Cookie Rojas. 37 flies to left field. 2-1 game. This has to go this way, folks. These 2 teams, they're a fun battle. I mean, it's long, takes forever for their series to play out. You know, you gotta like, you know, bring your sleeping bag and potable water and a generator in case the power goes out to reboot the computer, because these 2 teams play it long series. This is the 14th game between these 2 clubs. Top of the 6th. It's Buddy Bradford. 43 off Nelson, left X. Your left fielder's Pinella, 47, the weak link defensively for the Royals. Buddy makes the catch. One of these teams is catching balls, the other one is not. Tony Muser. 57 is a K, and with 2 outs, it's Aparicio. 2-3, pops to short. So, Bart Johnson, 1 run, 1 unearned run through 5. We go to the 6th. 2-1 affair. It's George Brett. 65 rolls a second. John Mayberry. 1-6. Let's take a look at the All-Star first baseman. John Mayberry was with Houston. They sort of gave up on him. Royals acquired him, immediately paid dividends in 72. 73 and 74 were okay. Has a great 75 and 76. 298 with 25 bombs and 72. Lefties, righties don't really matter. Actually has more homers against lefties. 1-6 is homer 1 to 9, double the rest, and when we look up, we get the 9 right over the wall. We got a tie game. 2-2. It'll be Lou Piniella. 37, Sky's the center. And with 2 outs, it's Amos Otis. 2-7, grounds to short. We had a 2-2 game earlier in game 3. And Gossage was brought in like the 7th inning of that and pitched all the way to the 10th and 11th. And Doug Bird, same thing. And this could very well be the same thing. Remember, Wilbur Woods pitching game 8. So it would be a shame for Bart Johnson to absorb a loss in this thing, considering how well he's pitched. As we go to the 7th inning, and you know Roger Nelson is going to give you 9, unless he gets point of weakness, and probably 10. As only the starter 9s are allowed to pitch into the 10th inning in my league, so that will probably happen. Carlos May leads off for the White Sox. 66, found the Nelson card, triple 104. It's a base hit. Now you got Ken Henderson. Do you attempt to steal? No. Ken Henderson. 59, second C. He gets the second base that way. Now you got George Orta. 311, flies to center. And with 2 outs, big moment for Dick Allen. 410, center X, and that's Amos Otis. 1 center fielder makes the catch. Stretch time, another thriller in the making here in Kansas City. A 2-2 game. We've been enjoying listening to The Many Sides of Fred Neil LP. This is a 36-song multiple disc of all the stuff he did, including the first record he put out that's got Everybody's Talking and Dolphins on it, plus a bunch of other stuff, live stuff from Woodstock and so forth and so on. It goes on a long time. Wonderful stuff by the enigmatic Fred Neil. The song he wrote that Nelson played in Midnight Cowboy for all you movie fans out there. Okay. Bottom of the 7th. Bart Johnson will continue. Does have to deal with lefties to start the frame. Lefty, righty, lefty. And it'll be Ed Kirkpatrick. These are the guys who made hay last time. 1-3. And it's a fly ball C plus injury, but he's a DH, so no injury. Fran Healy. 1-5, another base hit for Fran Healy. Now you got Jim Washer Dwyer. The temptation is to start executing the let's get the lefties out of this Kansas City lineup with Dave Lemons. Because you don't really mind. And Garman's hardly pitched. Johnson would be on the hook for a loss. This is his breaking inning if this runner scores. Be nice to get Dwyer out of the game. Probably wouldn't bunt with a slow-footed Healy at first. And Heidemann, Patek is out of the game, who would have been better against left-handed pitchers. So go to the left-handed pitcher with Patek gone. So we're going to do it. Again, this is a Gossage game, we figure anyway. So Bart will leave after 6 1/3, and it'll be Dave Lemons. He was the hero a couple days ago with a nice 2-inning relief performance that stretched out. They pushed Forster and Gossage into the 8th and 9th innings. So Dave Lemons will try it again here in the 7th. Plus, again, the White Sox are in a gravy game. They could win this in Game 8. So Dave Lemons, runner at first, 1 out, Jim Dwyer. And the Royals need to win this thing. You can't just give outs away. And so they're going to pull Dwyer. So you have Oliver or Cowens. Cowens will be playing in the outfield at the beginning of the next inning. The question only remains, would you prefer Bob Oliver to be swinging now? versus Cowens? And the answer is yes. They're going to go Bob Oliver. Actually, Oliver can play in the outfield. He'll just assume that role. Cowens will stay on the bench. Bob Oliver will be the pinch hitter. So I think the White Sox were hoping for Cowens. They ended up getting Bob Oliver. Let's take a look at him. 269 hitter and 72 with the California Angels. 20 home runs, but just 29 walks and 109 strikeouts. Hits lefties better than righties, of course. Slightly. Batting average, I guess. Yeah. A little bit better. Homers, maybe. Not so much. Bob Oliver bats. Runner at first. 1 out. Here's the pitch. 5-10 off of Lemons is catcher's X. Again, the 4E10 catcher. Just don't make the error. And it's pass ball. So pass ball. Oliver will take over in right field. And now up top, it's Jack Heidemann, who's in there for the injured Patek. Runner at second, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. 47 off of Lemons is a walk. And now it's Cookie Rojas, who certainly is not the type of basher to cause a pitching change. Brett, a lefty's on deck. You want Lemons to face Brett if we go that far, and Mayberry possibly. So he will stick around and deal in a 2-2 game with Cookie Rojas. Here's the pitch to Cookie. 3-6 is a fly ball to left. And that was the move for the Chi Sox. And Lemons will probably face Brett and Mayberry in the bottom half of the next inning. And Roger Nelson is still dealing in the 8th of a 2-2 affair. We could be here a long time, folks. But here's Bill Melton leading off in the 8th. 3-8 is a base hit. He's a 12 runner. Now you got Bob Stinson. Let's take a look at this guy. You're probably wondering. Stinson was not a White Sox. One of the free agents they brought in. He was an Expo in 73. A switch hitting catcher who can draw walks, hit for power. 261 average, but eventually Gary Carter arrives, and the John Bacabellas, the John Batemans, the Bob Stinsons have to go somewhere else to look for work behind the plate. White Sox picked him up. Good switch hitter, good left-handed batter versus Roger Nelson. He'll swing away. Here's the pitch. 3-6 right on cue. Stinson, triple, 1-6, single, ... Gets the triple on 6. The White Sox have a lead. And a runner on third with nobody out. Nelson can't break in this inning, though. The infield will come up for Buddy Bradford. 66, single, 1-18 off the Nelson card. Gets it, and it's a 4-2 game. And you got lefty Musa, righty Aparicio, lefty May, and they're getting to Nelson here. And if you're the Royals, you're thinking you almost have to go to the bullpen against these lefties, and this is the problem with Kansas City. They just don't have it. They've been coaxing on luck and good fortune throughout the year. They have Joe Horner, who really struggles. Pena gets righties out. Bird is the closer. And Nelson is the best pitcher on your team, and you want to take him out. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So they're going to leave their hero, Nelson, in and figure it out and try and get this inning over down 2. So Bradford's at first. It'll be Tony Muser. 2-6 for Muser. Double 1-2 is a base hit. And you got runners on the corners with nobody out. And you have Aparicio. And then you have May, the lefty. Dare we with a 2-run lead and up 2 games in the series? Yeah, we're going to do it, folks. You know what's coming. I normally like to do this with 1 out runners on the corners, not normally no outs, but we're squeezing Aparicio. We did this with Felix Miana a couple of days ago, and it won a game. So Aparicio is going to squeeze. Doesn't make it. Close. It's the 8, and I believe it's just the out at the plate. Let me just double check the strategy guide on the 8 for A bunters. Here's a simplified form of it. Actually, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, the infield was up, so he's a B. That's right. So, yeah, it's just a 1-2. They got him out at the plate. The infield is up for Aparicio. Squeezed anyway. And it just got him out at the plate. That's all right. So now you got first and second with 1 out. Again, it's a 2-7 shot. So I like the odds there, particularly against Roger Nelson. And I got Carlos May and Henderson coming up. So this is what the White Sox want, the lefties. And Orta after that. Now you might think about getting Nelson out of there. with first and second in a 2-run game. It just seems ridiculous to take out a pitcher with an ERA of 2 and bring in a pitcher with an ERA of 4.60. Because the White Sox could care less if you bring in a lefty or a righty with May, Henderson, and Orta. No, they're gonna pitch first and second. Nelson's the guy. They're just gonna roll with him. First and second, playing back. Here's the pitch to Carlos May. 2-7, he delivers. Single to left. +1 arm. You're probably gonna run here with 1 out. Muser and Aparicio are the base runners. Muser's a good runner. He's a 12. It's a 13. He's going to run up against Piniella. And he's out on a 17. This is what keeps happening to the White Sox. You just want to try these moves. Yeah, they're risky, but you still have the odds. And they don't get any of them. So he's thrown out. Unbelievable. Aparicio on the third of the plate goes to third. May's at first. And you have Ken Henderson here. Here's the pitch to Ken Henderson. 47 is a pop to short. Well, they got 2 runs, run out of the inning a couple times, trying to have above 50% chances happen, and it just didn't work for a third or fourth run there. Tough break. Now, Orta, gosh, would be leading off in the 9th, but you almost want to pull him for defense. Oh boy, let's not choke this away, White Sox. You got a 2-run lead, 6 outs to get. May batted, so Steve Bry's going to come in and be the defense in left field. Allen Orta are up. We're getting Stinson out of there. Too many catchers and cards for me. I'm putting Brian Downing behind the plate. My choice for Bucky Dent is to take out Dick Allen or George Orta. I can't do that. Dent will stay on the bench. We'll have him come on in the 9th inning. But we brought in outfield defense and a catcher. With 6 outs to get, Dave Lemons is going to start this inning. Outstanding against lefties, and he's got a couple, Brett and Mayberry. So George Brett will lead off a 4-2 game in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch to Brett. 1-8. Well, there's a base hit. And now it's John Mayberry. Oh boy. Homered his last time up. Again, Lemons. Outstanding against lefties. No homers on his card. Play to the card. Play to the batter. I know he's an all-star. But yeah. Here's the pitch to John Mayberry. 4-8 is a strikeout. Now we're getting into Piniella, Otis, Kirkpatrick, Healy, and Oliver. And let's just do it. Yeah, we're just going to go right to the goose. So, 5 outs to get for Gossage to win the series, 5 games to 2 with a 2-run lead. You got to take this if you can get it. So Lemons, he went 2 innings, just like in the other game. Forster is not really needed at this point. We're going right to Gossage for 5 outs to get, with 4 of the next 5 batters being right-handed. Probably won't have to face Brett at all in this. And if Brett does come up, possibly, potentially, Forster might pitch to him. So Gossage comes in the 8th with a runner at first and 1 out. Let's take a look at the Gossage card. So he has pitched almost 30 innings of relief this year, breaking a record for usage. Not abused. He's had 4 inning relief appearances spread out throughout the series, while 1 inning saves in there as well. His ERA this year, by the way, is 95 cents. 0.95 ERA, was the White Sox All-Star. And in 75, he was 9-8 with a 184 ERA and 142 innings. 142 innings in 162 games. So it's pretty much matching up like that. Lou Piniella, the tie run, the current American League batting leader. Here's the pitch to Lou Piniella. 65, second C. Runner in the scoring position. 2 outs, and it'll be Amos Otis. 38 is a grounder to short. Doesn't need to strike out. And the White Sox defense back him up. 4-2 game in the 9th. Nelson, well, he's pitched this far. It's just 4 runs in 8 innings. I know it seems like he should be gone, but he's going out there for the 9th. It'll be George Orta. 48 pops to second. Now we could take him out for Bucky Dent defensively. Dick Allen. 4-5 flies to left, and with 2 outs, it's Melton. 4-6 K's. Prince Rogers Nelson. Another complete game. 4 runs allowed though. He's 7-1. This would be his second loss of the year. So, Gossage. He'll face a lefty to start the inning, and then it's righty Healy, righty Oliver, righty Heidemann, righty Rojas before you get to Brett. With only Al Cowens, who can't hit righties very well at all on the bench. All the White Sox defense is in. This should be a victory. So Ed Kirkpatrick will lead off in the bottom of the 9th. Here's pitch. 1-7. This is single 1-3. Line out the rest. And when we look up at the board, he gets a single 1-3. So that shouldn't have happened, but it did. Okay. Kansas City. Rubbing those horseshoes that they've been using all year. They're slightly overmatched by the White Sox. They got a better roster. Do the White Sox. And they won 4 out of 6 this time. And they're trying to finish them off in 7. Fran Healy, the all-star catcher, the tie run. He's 2 for 3 today. Here's the pitch to Fran Healy. 6-12 off of Gossage. It's a fly ball left. Number 9 hitter, Jim Dwyer. No, it's Bob Oliver. We saw the card earlier. There's plenty of homers on the card. Outstanding bench player. Probably is a starter on most teams. But again, the Royals were hitting 300, 290 for most of the year. So Bob Oliver will swing away. A 1-8 ties this thing. Bob Oliver. Here is the pitch. 3-9 will connect. Oliver. This is a single to right field. And Kirkpatrick goes to second. You got Jack, Heidemann, and Rojas. One of these guys reaches. Forster is warming. It's getting interesting in Kansas City. First and second, 1 out. And here's the pitch to Jack Heidemann. 47 off Gossage is a strikeout. Of course it is. And with 2 outs, it's all up to Cookie Rojas. With Brett chomping at the bit on the on-deck circle. Let's take a look at the Rojas card of 1973. A 276 hitter. He actually hit 300 in 1971, which surprised me. I didn't think he ever hit 300. But he's still a second baseman here. It's going to take 3 more years before Frank White develops in Kansas City. Rojas, 276, 6 homers in 580 plate appearances. Doesn't have power versus righties, but 1-8 could walk off the game. A 1-8 homer chance, 1-9. Excuse me, 1-8. Triple check. 1-8, yes. Walks off the game for Kansas City. 2 on, 2 out. Your Cy Young moment for Rich Gossage. Here is the pitch. 68 off the Gossage card is, of course, a strikeout. And that'll end the series. And Gossage made it interesting with a couple base runners in the 9th. But he continues his Cy Young candidacy. And the White Sox have gained some separation, finally, over the Kansas City Royals by winning Game 7 4-2, winning the series outright 5-2. And now they are in position to possibly win this division and even get themselves a bye in the American League playoffs. Big swing with 3 straight wins, all gritty wins for the White Sox. That's 9 1/3. So I had 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, I got Lemons wrong in here. So Lemons only pitched 1 inning. My bad. He got 2 batters out in 1 inning and 1 out in the next. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. Okay, so we're gonna take this right through the box, look at the stats and standings, and plug in all the numbers. So Roger Nelson takes the loss. 11 hits, 4 runs, 2 early, 2 late. Actually, 4, 5, 6, 8 of the 11 hits happened in just the 2 innings. 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. Just an ordinary start for him. But still, he's on the Cy Young list somewhere. He'll have great numbers. We'll look at those. Gossage gets the save. Came in to face Piniella. Got those outs. 2 singles and 2 strikeouts. Made it interesting, slightly. Dave Lemons, very capable. Now the White Sox pen is looking complete now. Lemons supports Forster earlier in games. Lemons was a big move here, facing Bob Oliver, getting him out, and then getting a walk and then the next batter out. A hit and then a strikeout. So a hit, walk, and a K. And Bart Johnson, does he get the win? No, he doesn't. He'll not get the win, of course. Lemons will get that because the game was tied on that homer by Mayberry there. But still, an effective day for Bart Johnson. Just 4 hits, the 2 runs, 1 was earned, no walks, and a strikeout. Great start for Bart Johnson. Wilbur Wood's finally getting some help in the rotation. It was the right-handed starters who held their own. Remember, Wilbur Wood lost one of those games. The complete game loss. He lost one of the 2. 1019, 0109, 41127. 54141454. In the 7th game. And the White Sox have all the advantages. They have a lead in the division. They also have the head-to-head tiebreaker versus Kansas City now. That's what you have to do if you can. Get these series done quick and early so the teams can't come back in the overall standings as well, let alone the series itself. Game 7. White Sox first 2-game lead of this season at the right time. Looking at the records now. White Sox are 22-14, that's 8 over. And the Royals are just 21-17, 4 over. That's the 2-game lead. The Royal hitting has really fallen. They're down to 283. That's outstanding. But they were once hitting 300 as a club. Again, 4 All-Star hitters to the All-Star game. Team ERA 361, which is actually pretty darn good for the White Sox. Roger Nelson 7-2 with 7 complete games. He gave up 4 runs in that one, but still. His ERA is 2.73. 8 homers for Amos Otis, 29 RBI. But he struggled in that series. His batting average is down to around 250. Brett's 58 for 164. Hitting 354 is Brett. He was behind Piniella. What's Piniella at now? Pinella's 56 for 160. Yeah, so Brett passes Piniella for the team lead in hitting. Now the White Sox. So these are the numbers for Rich Gossage. He's 2-0. He has 7 saves. That doesn't even lead the American League. But it's the 31 innings pitched out of a relief pitcher. I mean, some number 3, number 4 starters don't have that many innings. 31 innings of relief, 21 hits, 3 runs, 13 walks, 43 strikeouts. And his ERA is 0.87. Yeah. His whip is just above 1, like 1.10, something like that. Wilbur Wood 6-5, piling up innings and complete games. Home runs, Dick Allen has 7, 31 RBIs. It's a decent year. It's not an MVP year. Dick Allen's hitting 246. Maybe the best is still to come for him with his 72 card. Last chance of using it. Matter of fact, White Sox still just hitting 254. They've closed the gap. At one point, the Royals had a 50-point advantage in batting average. Now it's down to a 29-point advantage. 254, 351 ERA. Bart Johnson's 2-3. Bradley's 3-3. Bonson's 1-2. But they've been pitching well recently. Frankly, the starting pitching of the White Sox has a losing record. They've got 12 wins and 13 losses. The bullpen has been outstanding. A complete reversal over the last 2 years. The White Sox bullpen is now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They are 10-1 with 8 saves. Forster has 1. Gossage has the other 7. All the relievers. We talk about Dave Lemons. I mentioned, how they've been counting on him to give Forster a break. Dave Lemons has a 180 earned run average. Forster 6 runs in 23 innings. a 2.34 ERA. So outstanding work for the White Sox. 22 and 14, 21 and 17. Let's go to the postseason here. And here we are. 22 and 14, 21 and 17. So the White Sox needed a 5-3. They ended up with a 5-2. They're 22 and 14. Kansas City's 21 and 17. The division is 12 over 500. Those two teams are 12 over 500. When we look at the overall standings now, you'll see that Royals are 2 back. So this is great news for the White Sox. Playing 6-11 baseball. Oakland's at 704. Up top, nobody's really doing much. 577. White Sox have an opportunity to hold on to first place. They will have to play a first place team for seeding purposes. At this point, the White Sox are pretty much in the playoffs. The Royals can still catch them for the division in the next 2 rounds of the tournament. The White Sox will have to play the first place team in this division, but they'll have a significant advantage at 8 over 500 versus whoever wins the series between the Tigers and Expos. So, great performance by the White Sox. They had their familiar struggles. The Royals, they looked really familiar, but eventually the White Sox talent just came through when it mattered most in the last 3 games. The White Sox break them up. They win 5-2 and take a 2-game lead in the first in the Midwest. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.